In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
Lexie Hull was on the brink of being forgotten at the start of the 2024 season. Drafted 6th overall in 2022, the former collegiate star struggled to find her place with the Indiana Fever under then-coach Christy Sides. The once promising national champion sat on the sidelines watching as others took her minutes. Fans questioned.
You have basketball in your genes. Your grandfather played basketball, your dad, and you have a twin sister who you played basketball with growing up. What was it like growing up in that family dynamic?
Well, we have a super competitive family, and, having my dad play basketball collegiately, knew that basketball was going to be put in my hands at an early age, but my parents were, super excited about having us try every sport imaginable. So yeah, we grew up, my sister and I, playing a little bit.
Then Caitlin Clark arrived, a superstar sensation whose electrifying play style lit up the WNBA. Clark didn't just change the Fever's offense. She changed everything from team chemistry to individual performances. Her presence created a ripple effect.
It's important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams.
In her latest interview with She's for Sports and the Dunker Spot, Lexie did not hold back what happened behind the scenes. How did Clark's leadership transform Hull's trajectory? And what does this story reveal about the rise of the Indiana Fever? Get ready to uncover the untold truth about redemption camaraderie and one of the most inspiring turnarounds.
A clutch player by WNBA fans, and she was drafted to the W in 2022 with the Indiana Fever in the first round as the 6th pick. I'm talking about professional basketball player Lexie.
The 2024 season couldn't have started worse, for Lexie Hull was drafted 6th overall in 2022. She had been a key figure on Stanford's national championship team, yet just 2 years into her WNBA career, she found herself on the bench watching as others like KDL, Samuelson, and...
At the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying.
But trusting the process was easier said than done for H. The mental adjustment from being a college star to fighting for a role in the WNBA was...
The basketball part of the transition is really tough. Everybody out on the court was one of the best players on their college teams, definitely the best player likely from their high school team. So it's just this mishmash of the best basketball players, and then you're playing against people that have been there for years and years.
Challenging. Into Review 6. The Fever were also struggling as a team, opening the season with a dismal 1-win, 8-loss record.
We're just sick that we had lost so many games, and also feeling like we were better than that.
Fans were growing impatient, and the locker room felt the tension.
My role is just getting to the open spots, and we have such a good offense that people find the open person. So to be that open person, you get excited. You get excited for the opportunity to shoot and score and be part of the, the momentum.
Criticism of the team's rotations, defensive lapses, coaching, and lack of chemistry dominated headlines, leaving players to navigate a storm of doubt.
What is it like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston?
I mean, they make my job really easy, right? It's awesome. And it's really cool to see all of them just grow, not only from this year, but playing 3 years with Kelsey, 2 years with Aaliyah. They're so impressive.
She poured herself into practice, refining her cutting and shooting to capitalize on any opportunity that might come her way. Hull also credited her teammates for keeping her inspired.
It's really fun because they garner so much attention, obviously, from the other team's defense. So then it allows the other players, me included, to make cuts, make reads, and they're really good at finding, those openings and giving the ball up when it's needed and finding the better shot. So it's really fun, and I feel really lucky to.
Like playing off of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, UND, Aaliyah Boston. I mean, they make my job really easy, right? Yes, ist pretty awesome, UND, yes, ist wirklich cool. All of them einfach wachsen zu sehen, nicht nur in diesem Jahr, sondern auch.
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So now it's okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So I mean, it's been
Caitlin Clark, the phenom, whose arrival was nothing short of seismic for the Indiana Fever, known for her jaw-dropping highlights and fiery competitiveness. Clark stepped into a locker room desperate for a spark, and spark it she did. From the moment Clark joined the team, the atmosphere changed. Fans were buzzing, ticket sales surged, and practices became electric. And
it's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of like actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
We play against guys in practice, Hull said, laughing. If they're not winning, Caitlin's going to do everything she can to make sure they're competing. That energy wasn't just for show. It carried over into games where her ability to see plays unfold before they happened left defenders scramble.
She sees the game at a bigger scale, obviously with the platform that she's created for herself, and then that's transitioned to the game. It's huge. And I think like for me, especially as a point guard and as someone that's delivering a lot of the passes that lead to shots, like if I miss, she's definitely going to say like, you got the next one. Like I can count on her for keeping me like confident and positive. So yeah, I think that shows the player that she is and the leader she is as a point guard.
Clark's ability to read defenses and deliver passes into tight windows transformed the Fever's offense. Suddenly players like Hull found themselves wide open in spaces they hadn't been before. She's making passes I didn't think were possible. Hull added, the team began scoring more efficiently, with Clark's presence drawing defenders and creating opportunities for her.
Really awesome to get to know her as well, because you know, she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her, and our team has put on her, and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome. And I'm just really proud to, you know, have her on the team. And
competitive fire was contagious, pushing everyone to elevate their game. It wasn't long before players began feeding off her energy, believing they could compete with anyone in the league. Clark's arrival.
Indiana Fever had a history-making year. What was that like for you to be a part of that?
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the WNBA, but to be on a team like the Indiana Fever. I've seen so much growth, not only on the team side, how we're performing on the court, but also the growth in fans. I mean, on the road, it felt like home games. We're playing in sold-out arenas that...
Interview 14. And step up they did. As the Fever began to gel, their offense transformed into a cohesive, dynamic force. The game becomes so much more fun when you know you're cutting with a real chance to make a play, Paul said. For the Fever, Clark wasn't just a rookie, she was a game changer. But was her arrival enough to turn the season around? That answer would unfold in the week.
It comes down to trusting the process, and part of that process is making sure that the work's getting
this far and are enjoying the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We're with Sin. Watching this video, take some of your time and...
I think one thing that our coaches did during that break, I mean, we had a full month of practice pretty much during the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, and some people will probably like it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally like...
The Fever's journey from chaos to chemistry didn't happen overnight. The turning point came not in a game, but in the work they put in during practices. Hull described intense scrimmages where Clark's competitiveness raised the stakes. If something wasn't working, Caitlin wasn't afraid to push us to fix it. Paul recalled her energy was contagious, and we knew we had to match it. Coaches began to notice the team's growing resilience. The Fever's practices were no longer just drills, they were battles, and from those battles, a team identity began to emerge.